Tonight we continue our discussion about leading with faith, clarity, and purpose, even when the path is still unfolding. This is the 30. Let's get started. Faith is what carries us through the steps we see and the ones we don't. And every leader knows that the journey isn't always clear. But with purpose and connection, we go through each step. Good evening, leaders. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, friends, wherever you are watching from. Welcome to the 30. I am your host, Patrick. I'm the founder and managing principal of the Jackman Group, LLC. And tonight we're talking about leading with faith, clarity, and purpose, even when the path is unfolding. And I couldn't think about a better guest to help us unpack this great episode. But Kiera, from where we're going to go all the way down to North Carolina. I think she's still in Charlotte. I'm not sure, but she's going to tell us. She's an author. Let's see here. Author, sales leader, educator, strategic consultant, and founder of KD Consulting. She's also written 2 books that we're going to be talking about. I am excited to welcome her. This is her second time coming on the 30. Kiera, welcome to the 30. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I feel so privileged. This is the second time. Yes, I made it back.
The second time. Absolutely. How are things going?
They are going great. I cannot complain. I'm excited. I'm happy. There's a lot of freedom in the things that I'm doing. And I think it's all the clarity and the vision, I think, is finally coming together for me. The things that God has already planned, obviously, He's had a plan. But I think they're all starting to come to light.
There we go. There we go. Yep. Sometime or the other, that light will come on and His wisdom and revelation will be revealed. Well, tell our viewers who you are, what you do. I know you probably have some friends and family watching, and I thank them.
Yes.
But for those that do not know you.
Too.
Huh?
I said, my husband's right over there too. He doesn't want to get on camera.
What's going on, hubby? How are you?
I'm good.
All right. We'll talk to you shortly when we get to the second book.
Right.
So tell our viewers and listeners who you are and what you do and what you're all about.
Well, let me start with who I am. Trying my best to train myself to say who I am without saying what I do. Right. I am a leader, a woman who's very passionate about helping people. I like to see people win. I'm a good connector. I have a superpower of connecting people and resources and helping people win. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. My granddaughters call me Nana. I'm a wife of 32 years to my husband, Louis. Yep, 32 years.
Congratulations.
And I am a child of God. I am a leader, a God girl, God's girl, I guess I would say.
There we go. There we go. So 32 years of marriage.
Yes, 32.
Wow.
I always have to ask him. I said, we're in the 30 what? And he was like, 32 years, Kiera.
32 years.
Okay. Got
All
it.
right.
Yep. So
Good. Well,
32 years.
congratulations.
And then what I do, I'm a coach, a trainer, an author. I launched my own company called KD Consulting Group, where I help people and organizations build purpose, expand and elevate their presence, and get results, whether it's sales results, some of the results that they've been, whatever goals that they're trying to accomplish. Sometimes it's personal, sometimes it's business. But at the end of the day, it's purpose, presence, results.
Awesome. So you have been busy since we last connected.
Yeah. I have definitely been busy, especially since everything launched back in April is when launched full-time consulting group, just getting everything ready and packaged. The book, been writing, 2 books at one time. My husband and I, of course, we've been writing our book for years. It's the stop, start. Then it was the After the Tour book that I launched first. And there was some reasoning behind that. So strategically around that as well. But it has been really busy. So it looks like I just woke up one day and popped out 2 books. Yeah, no.
What you're saying, you're not an overnight success.
No, oh no. long time coming.
So I know that we're going to talk about each book individually. Are these the 2 books that you've written, or have you done any other writing or authoring?
No, these are the first 2 published books that we've done. And it was something, again, that has been in my belly and my spirit. I tell people all the time, I've written like 10 books in my head by myself. They're just not published yet. And there's a lot of times when you've done trainings, or I've done sales trainings, or I've been coaching, counseling, things like that I've done in my past. You would think, okay, I can just grab this information. I should be able to write a book about it. But it really was not that easy. And I remember traveling for work a couple of years ago, and I was sitting on a plane with a lady headed back to Charlotte, and she was an author, and I started picking her brain about it. And I was telling her, this is where I am, and this is what I think, and this is where I get stuck. And she's like, Kiera, just write. Just keep writing. Don't worry about what chapter. Don't worry about what order. Don't worry about any of those things, grammar, what the style of the paper is. Just start putting down your thoughts and just keep writing. And that was a couple of years ago. And I was inspired by that, even though I didn't write then. But I just always remember, she said, don't get hung up. Don't overthink it. Just write. Just put it down on paper. And so little by little, I would, continue to do that, thinking one day I would go back to it. So I would say last year was really the time where God really started moving me in that direction, for sure.
Now you have 2 books.
Yes.
One is After the Tour, and the second one is 40 Days and 40 Nights. Which one came first?
Well, After the Tour was published first.
Okay.
But the devotional was pretty much written. We've been writing this book for a few years, and this is the one that was pretty much finished, but not published. I wanted to publish this, my sales book, first, and leadership book, just because it was just the perfect timing. And then we talked about, building on that momentum from my book, and then putting out the devotional Q3, which is now, because a lot of people like to buy, gifts for holidays and family. A lot of people like to buy devotional guides, for the first of the year. They like to start the first of the year with, sometimes a devotional. So we just thought it would be a good time, October, to launch the devotional. Okay. So that's why we did that.
So what inspired you to write? So let's talk about After the Tour, and that is on about sales, influence, and leadership, right? What inspired you to write that book?
It's really a message that I've been training and talking about, I would say, for the past probably 7 out of the last 10 years, maybe 7 or 8 years since I've been in the senior living, active adult, and aging industry. And it's really about how to bridge that gap to help seniors and prospects move in sooner or have an easier move in transition time, and really teaching and coaching operators, developers, sales leaders, and marketing experts really how to position themselves to close that gap. And there's a lot that happens after they've toured the community. There's a lot of money that goes into marketing and sales and branding that communities are doing. And once that prospect leaves, what happens? Who is guiding them there? What can they do to really hold on to that prospect to move them forward? So I give stories, real stories and experiences that I've had talking to prospects, being in their homes, talking to salespeople, learning from them, and really kind of pulling it all together. So I really represent like that middle person. I'm not the move manager. I'm not, running a moving company. I'm not the salesperson trying to sell the community. I'm right in the middle saying, hey, I know exactly what you can do to help your prospects. And I know what you need to do over here to close that gap, because I've lived right in the middle of both. And so just having some of those tips, and I have a training model that I give out as well. And it's been I've gotten a lot of feedback. It's been really successful so far, doing some training around it, coaching some sales professionals. And it's not really there to replace, I didn't write this to replace any type of sales training that salespeople are doing. They're very, skilled at, the basic training of sales. It's really about closing in the gaps. There's pieces that are missing. So I teach the logistical cues that they may be missing. While they're focused on selling the community, there are pieces at home and what the client is dealing with that until that is solved, that problem is solved, they're not going to move. And so if we don't listen to those cues, then we miss it, and it costs the community another 18 months decision. So, and that's, we understand that's a loss of revenue.
So then the target audience is who? Is it the retirement community? Is it the salesperson? Is it who's it targeted to?
I'm speaking directly to sales leaders, your marketing, your sales leaders, your developers, your builders, your operators, all of them. It's the whole audience.
And the retirement home industry.
Yes, active adult and senior living. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Good.
So it was, I think it was probably, it was around, I guess, September, August of last year is where like, there's like, people call them spidey senses, or you start feeling certain calling, or you feel like God's telling you something. It was really around the end of last summer where I could feel and hear God saying, shifting, something's getting ready to change. And it's kind of hard to explain sometimes to people who don't understand that. But I had been reading, I love John Maxwell's Leadership Bible. Love it. If people don't have that Bible, that one, I highly recommend it. It's a leadership Bible. And what I love about it is that if I'm studying any character or any certain book, it will bring out certain leadership characteristics and qualities and traits and things like that. When they heard God call, maybe they didn't listen, and what happened and how they stepped up, their power of influence, all those things. And I was studying a lot. I said, I'm going to study Isaiah. And then God was like, okay, now study Joshua. Okay, now you're studying Nehemiah. Then I started studying, it was Joshua, Nehemiah, Isaiah, Jeremiah. I said that already. But anyway, I started studying them. And in one of them, I remember God calling, and he said, don't worry about it. I'm going to be with you the whole time, but you're getting ready to go through some trials. You're getting ready to face some things, but I'm going to be with you. But in the meantime, he said, I need you to get into position. So when I read that, it was like the heavens had opened and God himself was saying, I need you to get stuff done that I've been wanting you to do. And I've been telling you to do, but you haven't been doing. Right. Fantastic. So immediately that's where I'm like, I need to get my stuff in order. There are things that God is preparing me for, which I had no idea what was coming, but I knew that this had to be done. One was the book, another was thinking about, future and how I wanted to build. talking to my husband about, all right, we got to get this book. God said we got to get this done. And so that's when we both started, I started working on my book. We were working both on our devotional. And our devotional, by the way, is 40 of our sermons that we've done over the years. So my husband speaks, I speak. We've done, women's retreats, men, ministry, things like that. And we've kept all of them over the years. And so we were he would be working on his and working on mine, all of that. But during that time frame, it was like, you got to get it done. But now I didn't have a deadline. So God didn't say, you got to do it by, So of course you start going, I don't feel like working on this today, But then, and I'm not Catholic. I don't celebrate Lent, but I love the messaging behind Lent, right? And fasting and really giving up of worldly things or things that are just, going to disconnect me from God. So that 40 days, I said, we need to have these books done before Lent is over.
So is that this second book is 40 days and 40 nights. Is that where the premise came from?
I think so. Is that where the 40 days? Not necessarily Lent.
Yeah, not necessarily Lent.
No, it really wasn't like because of Lent, but it was just, I think it all started coming together. One, we had 40 sermons. Because at first we were like, well, how many sermons do we even have? Maybe it's going to be a 10-day book. And then we're like, oh, we have 32. Oh, we found 4. You know what I mean? So it just kind of started. We just kept going. And like, when we stopped, we're like, oh, we actually have 40. It's like, you know what? 40 has so many different meanings, biblically and everything too. So we said, okay, this is where it's going to be, like 40 days, 40 nights. This is going to be the book. So yes. So before Lent was even over, before Easter happened, we were able to at least finish the first drafts. Like it was done. And 2, I wanted both of them to be done in that time.
Awesome. Now I noticed in one of the pictures that you posted, I think it was on LinkedIn, you posted it with your son.
Yes. So
the pictures,
yes,
or that was in the book. Okay.
Yes. So both of our sons. So of course it's 40 days and 40 nights, a guide to finding God's peace one day at a time. So if I'm going to look for God's peace, I'm going to find it in the water or I'm going to the mountains. So that's just something that I know God is in the mountains. I know there was somewhere around some body of water. And we took this book of our oldest son, he's 29, but we took this of him when he was in middle school. And this is Oak Island in North Carolina. And then this is our youngest son. He's 26. And this is Hanging Rock. He went hiking with some friends in Hanging Rock, North Carolina. So these 2 pictures are in our house already. So when we were trying to figure out, we don't know what kind of cover design, we had some ideas and it didn't come out right. And we're like, why don't we use these 2 pictures? And so we asked the designer to make it happen. And when he called, he said, what do you want people to see when they pick up the book? We're like, we want people to pick this up, bright, colorful. We want them to look at it and go, wow, I want to go find God's peace. And what better places to find it is go to the beach, go to the mountains. I guarantee you're going to find them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can bring Lewis on. If he can hook his head on, the co-author of the book, 40 days, 40 nights. What is going on? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Congratulations on the book. It's awesome.
Thank you. I wasn't ready for this.
It's like, you're coming in, right?
Let's see. Expect the unexpected, or hey, always be ready.
Always be ready.
That is very true.
In season and out of season.
Yes.
You are absolutely right.
So tell us about your experience in writing the book.
Oh my goodness. It's like, I always wanted to write a book and just never thought it would be a devotional book. I just always thought it'd be something on football because I love football so much. And when we came with the idea of doing a devotional book, it was like, okay, that sounds great. We got all these sermons, but how do I take a sermon, a 45-minute sermon, 30-minute sermon, and condense it down into like a 5-minute devotional? And so that was a whole different experience for me. And it was also God teaching me and me just like going through my sermons all over again. Because my sermons were mainly cliff notes, just notes, with little dots or sentences, whatever. And just to take that, like, okay, God, what was I thinking about then? What was I talking about when I said, tell the story of your childhood? Okay, what story was I talking about? But just that relationship, getting closer to God again, and letting Him use me and whisper in my ear on what to put down, was very powerful. And our whole book, we prayed over this book that whoever picks it up will find God, find Jesus, find this Holy Spirit, no matter what denomination, if you're part of a church, not a part of a church, that you will know who He is through our stories. And so it was very powerful for me. Yes.
Awesome. Great.
And we had to relive, like when you're thinking about sermons, or because, everything in here has like either a personal story or something we may have been dealing with, job loss or, death in the family or something that was going on in our marriage, our kids. And so going through those sermons again and stories and putting them together, like, oh, remember that's when I, lost that job, or remember that was, so you're kind of going through it. But the good thing was too, it's like, man, we can look back, that was 20 years ago, and look what God has done since. Yes. So it just, even in the writing of the book, it took us back to
just remind you who God was, how He brought you through that storm you never thought you could get through.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And just hearing feedback from people, friends, people who's reading our devotion, and they're like, oh my God, when I read this, I'm reading my life story. And we love to hear that, because my story and your story could be similar, and we can get so much out of it, and you just imagine how God took care of me, He'll take care of you.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, yeah.
There we go. And that's especially needed now, right? And Kiera and I were talking backstage before the show started about the importance of having faith now more than ever.
Yes.
Because people are looking for hope. They're looking for something during this time of uncertainty. Let's talk about, how can you apply it? How does spiritual grounding impact how you lead, how people should lead? How does it impact not just leaders, but teachers are navigating the pressures of life now?
I mean, it really shapes the type of leader I am, or the type of person I am, how I treat people, how I show up for them, my values, if I'm going to be an authentic leader, am I going to be genuine? Am I going to be truthful? How am I treating the employees? Like, having that faith and that spiritual grounding, that's huge, because I'm one of those people. I'm a middle child. I'm one of those people who are always about, equity, inclusion, and what's fair and what's not fair. So I'm always, thinking about the little person. And so being in a workplace or hearing or seeing people getting treated a certain way, that never sits well with me, because I know that that's not how God, would want people to be treated, or, people being treated unfairly or things like that. So it keeps me in check as a leader, no matter where I go. That's one of the reasons why I'm always saying you are the brand. Christianity, the same thing. I'm the brand. I'm the representative. I need to represent well. I need to represent who God is, and being able to share my faith, whether I say it or not, whether I tell somebody that I love God or not, it's going to show through my actions.
Yeah. You have to have that foundation, and, having that foundation rooted in Christ. He leads you and He guides you. And when you have that foundation, you're able to hear from Him and do for others. I'm in the lawn care business, and I have a lot of clients who, they don't even know that as I'm cutting the grass, I'm praying for them. I'm praying around as I walk around the house and stuff. And God will whisper in my ear different things to say or do for that client. And, without that foundation, who am I? And so it's important to have that foundation, because God will lead you to the right client. He will lead you what to do, what to say. And I'm always trying to go above and beyond to help that client, even when they don't have the money. Like, no, don't worry about it, because it's a ministry for me as well as a business. So God will provide for me. So
that's fantastic.
Then I'm able to share with them as well.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. As both of you are writing, so let's look behind the scenes now, behind the curtain, right? Were there any discussions or board meetings or high intense discussions?
You need to mind your business. You need to mind your business now. You're getting too.
Well, we're still married, so that's a plus.
Praise God for that.
Yeah, the enemy did rear his head up, and we kept going back and forth. Well, no, you wrote that, so you handle that type deal, or just trying to share. It was, enemy would put his head out there sometimes, poke at us, get in between us. But we stay focused on God and what we're trying to do, and what God was trying to do through us.
Right.
So that was what was very important. So as long as you stay focused with God, He will get you through it.
Right. Yeah, it was hard. Like it's anytime we do any type of DIY project, anything we have a group project with, she and I are in it together. It's a test of faith, and it's a test of our marriage. I can tell you that right now. I don't care if it's a little tiny project to a big project. We have to call the Lord in to help us with that project.
Why is that? Is it based on because you're both very competitive, or you're both wanting things to be done in the right way? How does that work?
Yeah, we're both different. Yeah,
very different personalities.
Go get it. I'm not laid back. It don't happen when it happens.
What's deadlines? He doesn't know anything about deadlines. Like, we'll get it done. No problem. I'm like, you know what? But we need to get this done. Like, we need to set a deadline. We should be able to say, are we going to do 2 chapters a day? We're going to do 2 chapters a week. Like, so, I'll get to it. I didn't have time today. And I'm just like,
yeah, it drives her crazy. But
I'm like, I can't do this without you. Like, we have to be. Like, it's a co-authored book. Like, I can't just sit here and make all the decisions. So yeah, that's behind the curtain there.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it how we start talking about leadership and books, and now into marriage and discussion.
Man, backlight.
We have different styles of leadership.
Very different styles in leadership, which is fine. It's okay. It's just, and it came together, but it was just, I think, like Lewis was saying, it's a test of our faith. It's a test of, like, this has been 32 years of marriage. So it's like, we got to make it work. Like, there's not an option here. We're going to be together.
That's it.
We got to get this done. But I think the biggest thing that helped us both was coming back to the foundation of, why are we writing this? Yeah. Who needs to hear this? Mm-hmm. And why it's so important to get this message out. Yeah. Right. And even though we were speaking and preaching at certain churches, and, there's certain vernacular that we use when you're preaching at you're saying something about a pew, or you're calling out a certain ministry that is only known to that certain church. We stripped it of all of that. Oh, wow. Right. We wanted someone to be able to pick it up and not be intimidated by reading the devotional, not feeling like, I need to know what they're talking about. They're talking about this pew, that certain ministry, these certain kids, and they're picking up going, this book isn't for me. We wanted anyone, non-denominational, it doesn't matter. Pick it up. They're going to find Jesus in here. Even the person who has a relationship, grown up in the church, maybe they need a jump start and they've fallen away. We want them to feel, like they're not being judged, and it's okay. Pick it up wherever you want to, leave off. And then for the person who's been doing it all their life and they feel like, hey, I got this. I've been reading the Bible. I've read it 50 times through my life. I'm good. I guarantee you they're going to find something in here that's going to bless them as well. So we wanted to make it, very practical, relatable. We use a lot of analogies when we speak. We compare things. Like, there's one called How to Jumpstart a Dead Battery. It was a sermon that Lewis did, and he's literally talking about jumpstart a dead battery.
Battery cables.
There's one that I'm talking about CPR and how that relates to our spiritual life. So very relatable type topics. And then we have a personal reflection time, questions where they can write in it like a journal. And then we end it
with a prayer.
In there, something simple that people can reflect on.
So where can our viewers and listeners, or anyone that wants to get any of the 2 books, where are they? Where can they get them? So tell us a little bit more.
Yes.
They can come to Charlotte, North Carolina.
We'll bring them to you.
We can sign and everything.
We will hand deliver them. So this book, we can get it on Amazon. And I think, is it my book that's distributed everywhere yet right now?
Yeah, everywhere.
So mine, because it came out first, this one can be picked up anywhere. Barnes & Nobles, Walmart, Amazon, anywhere where you sell books, this one can be ordered.
Ordered from,
And again, that one is called what?
This is After the Tour.
After the Tour.
Guiding your prospects from interest to action. So you can get them both on Amazon.
Okay.
But if somebody has another account, they can also get it on Barnes & Nobles or Walmart. And then, of course, Amazon, absolutely. And pretty soon they will be able to get it on other platforms as well. But definitely
and
Amazon.
please look for the cover and our name, Lewis and Kiera DesChamps.
Yeah.
Because they have like a ton of 40 Days and 40 Nights.
There's all kinds of different types of books. But yeah, ours is the only one, of course, with us as the authors. But it was definitely a fun experience. We had a great publisher consultant that worked with us. She's, a believer as well. And so, we would pray together, and she was very inspirational in helping, us to publish. So we were very grateful for her as well.
Yeah, God was in the middle of the whole, every detail.
Well, congratulations once again.
Thank you,
Lois and Kiera. As we wrap it up, let's bring it together. What are some last words? Because we focus primarily on leaders, and whether beginners, new to leadership, tenured leaders, that's our focus in helping people, providing people with relevant information to help them in their spiritual, professional, and personal lives. What would you say as we close it out to someone that, from a leadership perspective or business perspective, entrepreneurship, what would you say as last words to them?
One of the things that I would say is that you don't have to have everything right and all together to be used by God. He will call you, meet you right where you are. You don't have to be an elaborate speaker. You don't have to be the CEO. You don't have to be the keynote. You don't have to be the great. He called you for a purpose. So no matter what position or what you're doing, the greater purpose of you being there is really what he wants to show you. He wants to show you the person that needs to be helped, the servant, whatever it is, wherever you are. He's going to equip you. He's going to bring the people around you that can do all those other things. There's things we complement each other because, we have different skill sets, but we complement each other because, God knew exactly who and what I needed in my life, vice versa. So I feel like as a leader, you don't get intimidated by thinking you've got to have it all together and I've got to be eloquent in speech and I've got to do all these things. That if you continue trusting and following what God is leading, He's going to provide you with the skills and the people that are going to help you be successful.
Amen to that.
All right. And Lewis, any last words as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner? Because we have a lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners that are watching the shows, that are supporters of the 30. I'm an entrepreneur too. So from all three of us are, what are some last words that you can say to our,
kind of piggyback off what Kiera just said. I think, first of all, you need to find out who you are. First develop who is Lewis in Christ, and let God, have that relationship time with God and let Him lead you and guide you. And as an entrepreneur, He will surround you with the people who need to be in your life at that time that you need them. Mm-hmm. And He will provide the clients. Even during my moments where I only got 2 clients this week, next thing I know, my phone is ringing off the hook because I'm trusting in Him. Mm. And no matter what it looks like, keep your faith in God and keep doing what God asks you to do. Because most time we get messed up is when we go out on our own, trying to rush things, make things happen on our own, instead of letting God make it happen. So
can I just say to the entrepreneurs and people, the math never maths.
It never does.
It never maths. I'm just going to say that right now. 2 + 2 with God is never 4. No. Just know it doesn't math, and it's okay. But what has to math is your faith. It increases your faith. It is going to happen. You will not lack for anything. but I'm just going to let you know the math never maths.
It is a faith journey.
It is a faith journey.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you so very much for being here. And Kiera, we didn't even get to talking about your business, which is KD Consulting. Thank you, Lois. It's nice meeting you.
That means you have to have me on a third time.
I know. Yeah. So we got to bring you back and talk about your business and talk about the brand. I am the brand, or you're the brand, right?
You are the brand.
Right. So we got to have you back and talk about more about what you're doing and your other business venture. So let's plan to come back. I will reach out to you and let you know what is the best time. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Just keep up the great work. Just keep trusting, and we will see you down the road. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So we've been talking about our Guided by Faith, navigating leadership, purpose, and every step of the journey. I want to thank you for being here. I have some great news before we leave. I want to talk about last week. I briefly touched on our Leaders and Entrepreneur Connect virtual edition. Mark your calendar for Tuesday, December 9th. And this is all about connection. We want to have leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals from all industries, all backgrounds, not just in the US, but across this great country and across the world. It's from 11 o'clock a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. We're not going to be doing any PowerPoints. We're not going to be talking about presentations. We're just going to get together and connect. And it's the Leaders and Entrepreneurs Connect, the virtual edition. You're going to hear a lot more about this. You can check me out on my LinkedIn page, my Facebook page. You can also check it out on the Jackman Group Facebook page as well as LinkedIn page. But I'm going to be talking a lot more about this next week. But I would like you to be on the lookout. I'm going to drop the link in the show's description, and you register. It's not going to cost you anything, right? It is just your time. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good time. You can bring your coffee, your tea, your lattes, your juice, and we are just going to connect as leaders, as entrepreneurs, small business owners, professionals from all over the world. So I hope you will join us, but more to come next week. That is going to be on December 9th, 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. And maybe I'll invite Kiera and Louis to join us, and we'll do something special. But we just want to talk. We just want to meet each other, connect, and get ready, close out 2025 strong, and get ready for 2026. So until then, thank you for being here. Continue to believe, continue to trust, continue to lead. Be the leaders that you are called to be. Remember, keep leading, keep growing, and keep moving forward. May God bless you and your family. We will see you next week on another episode of The 30. Bye for now.